actually had a couple of calls, and today we are talking about so many things, including Abacha's returned loot. But on the front burner, we have Oyedepo and Oyakilome's videos that just came out with regards to issues like face masks and the church returning. Bishop Oyedepo said that why should you open the market for 6 hours when you can't open churches for 2 hours? And we're talking about that and more right here on 96.9 Cool FM. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Sorry, guys, that's going to take a while. Forgive me, I was actually reading a comment that said, tell Ada to unmask herself. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the comment. Tibor Harsh. Tibor Harsh is saying, please watch the hidden agenda behind COVID-19 on YouTube. My advice is stop watching unverified YouTube videos. Anybody can go on video on YouTube and say anything they want you to hear, and you just buy it hook, line, and sinker. Y'all need to be very careful with these conspiracy theories. They're more dangerous than the pandemic itself. So, do we have any WhatsApp messages? Bro, please don't come here and advise people to watch conspiracy theories. We don't do conspiracy theories here. Conspiracy theories are not genuine. You need to turn off your radio set, please, when you do call us. Hello, good evening. It's being taken down every day. Yes, it's being taken down every day because it's done by retards. You need to understand that, bro. Yes, good evening, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead, sir. How are you doing, sir? All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thanks for your contribution. So, thanks for also keeping the call 30 seconds and less. Please, we encourage you guys to call us, but keep the calls 30 seconds and less. We're discussing still on COVID-19. We're discussing Oyakilome's take on face masks and Oyedepo saying the church should resume activities, normal activities. According to what I heard, saying why are the markets open for 6 hours but churches cannot be open for 2 hours? So, what is your take? We're addressing this right here on Live and Dangerous on 99.3 Nigeria Info. So, Ada, over to you. Okay. Hello? Yes, hello, good evening. All right, welcome to the show. I know people are calling me, trying to wish me happy birthday, but it's affecting the feed. So please don't call me. I'm live right now. Don't call me. Okay? Guys, please help with that. Absolutely, bruv. Thank you very much for that contribution. Straight to the point, and he made a lot of sense. A closed place like a church can never be compared to an open place like a market. Even the markets, we're still worried. It's not like the markets are safe. It's just that people need to eat. The scriptures say man does not live by bread alone. Does not mean he does not live by bread. The key word is alone. But he has to live by bread, but not bread alone. It didn't say man does not live by bread. Man lives by bread. Oh, that's why inside our Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. That daily bread, where are you going to get it from if not from the market? So the market is very important when it comes to survival. Now, religious houses and spiritual houses are also important for your spiritual well-being and all that. But first of all, do you realize that in the Old Testament, if you had a contagious disease, you are not allowed to worship with everybody else? First of all, you'd live in isolation. So the scriptures use words like ceremonially unclean. Then, if you have a contagious disease, you literally have to announce. You have to actually wear a face mask according to the scriptures. And you have to announce unclean, unclean. As anybody approaches you, you have to let them know that you're unclean, so they should stay away and not get contaminated themselves. So I think the government right now, yes, everything is up to politics. The whole world is up to politics. I think right now the government is trying their best. This is a situation where not everybody, what is not everybody? Most people don't understand what COVID 19 is. Many scientists and doctors are still trying to come to terms with this COVID 19 pandemic, and the governments are working in tandem with them so as to achieve uh, minimal exposure to this scourge. So we all need to work together to make sure this contagion is contained. But it seems like people are more interested in conspiracy theories and what have you. So that's just it. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, but be careful what you sell as an opinion, especially as a pastor or somebody who's respected, because a lot of people are going to take what you're saying hook, line, and sinker, and they're going to believe your words without proper recourse to science or scripture or whatever else they have. They don't have the access you have. So that's my take. I think we should take some WhatsApp messages and, of course, phone calls. Okay, let me address that. Do not neglect the gathering of the brethren is advice Paul gave to the church. And I want to talk about it a little. Ada, if you permit me. Okay, my darling sister. He took this from the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 25. So if you read it in context, it says, let's read from 23. And let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we have firm, for God can be trusted to keep his promises. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works, and let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. Ada, from what you've heard, does it say if you neglect the brethren, you will die?
Cosmos.
Does it say you will go to hell?
Mm.
Does it say you will not be a Christian? It is just advice. And before it, if you read 24, it says, let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. Gathering together during a pandemic is not an act of love or an act of good work. I have studied these scriptures in every language they were written. English is the last language and the most adulterated language when it comes to the scriptures. So you cannot come and read it. You cannot jump into Hebrews chapter 10, go straight to 25, and create a doctrine around it without even understanding what the Apostle Paul, who wrote the book, was trying to say. So for you to even gather to meet, think of it. Act of love and act of good work, exposing your brethren to a contagion. Is that an act of love? Is that an act of good work? So our people need to understand. You see, 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 3 says people are going to depart from sound doctrine and look for teachers who are going to tell them what their itching ears want to hear. Nobody's saying you should neglect the gathering of the brethren, but it is against an act of love. It is against an act of good works when the science community is warning us that we should keep social distancing. The scientific community, the real heroes in this. Let me be honest, the church hasn't done much in this pandemic, even with regards to giving back to its own members. Those who are at the front line. Listen, each time you act irresponsibly, you put a nurse's life in danger, you put a midwife's life in danger, you put a doctor's life in danger, you put a hospital or a medical worker's life in danger, you put a policeman's life in danger. Each time you act irresponsibly. So when you're reading Hebrews chapter 10 verse 25 ignorantly, I will remind you to first of all read Hebrews chapter 10 verse 24 that goes before 25. And I'll read it again to you. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. Putting a doctor's life in danger is not an act of love or an act of good work. It's an act of wickedness. So if your gathering, which can be done online, I have done my radio show for the last 3 weeks online, and nobody has died. We have gathered on the radio. We've taken phone calls. We've spread our message. People have called. We've even helped some people who are going through difficult times. What is there that you want to gather inside that physical church that you cannot gather online? At least the Free Nation has run an online church successfully for 4 years. 95 to 98% of all we do is online. So I'm not getting it. What is there inside that building that you need to gather people to, that you even go against what Apostle Paul said in Hebrews chapter 10 verse 24? That's my concern. Maybe if it says, if you neglect the gathering of the brethren inside a building, you will go to hellfire, or if it came up with any such doctrine, I probably would understand and say, you know what, okay, there's a scriptural verification for this. But you quoting something in out of context, misunderstood, and in error, you're only making this worse. So I hope I've addressed that particular WhatsApp message.
Okay, moving on. Daddy Freeze. Many have turned themselves to storage and don't verify information before the comment. Many are looking for cheap fame, power, and wealth. And none of those propagandists, scammers, have done anything to improve the lives of individuals, even in their own community. Instead, they're accusing a man that retired from his work and started going about doing good through his foundation, saving lives years back. I tell you, all of them will fail in their own agenda. I know them. God will bless Bill Gates. I have more to say is I need your email address. I want to send you email. We need a vaccine. Don't mind them. Continue to preach the truth. I heard South Africa wants to launch 5G network.
I think they've already launched it. They've gone ahead and launched it. And I hear we're stalling on 5G network. It's like we're just backward in this part of the world. But hey, do
And you know,
we?
say because Bill Gates is not one of your pastors or leaders that has hypnotized them and he has become an antichrist. But the real antichrist is all of them. One from the southeast, the other from the southwest, and the other from the south central. They will all fail. Okay. Hmm. Good evening to you guys. Happy birthday, Daddy Breeze. With the love grant you more wisdom and fruitful new year. That's from Bazue from Ijesha.
Oh, thank you, Bazwe. Bless you, bro.
And Chinoye is asking for help.
Okay, let's continue. We'll come to the hell part a little later.
Good evening, my beautiful Ada and my mentor, Pastor Free. I am Owolabi from Ikoyi. I've been enjoying your program and I would like to meet you, sir, and greet you for your birthday. Okay. And God will be blessing you and empowering you for the good you do and the life living. And due to the issue about Madagascar, I thought our people are dying because of lack of knowledge. Yeah, I guess that's what you're trying to say. Till today, black babies and mothers still being a victim of malaria and some small pox. And what is very funny, there is our okay. Alright. It's just trying to say people are still dying of malaria here. Yeah.
And our worry is,
Trying to make sense out of this, but it's a bit difficult. Happy birthday to you, Daddy Freeze. I pray that God continues to give you more insights. Please, I'd love to join your church WhatsApp group. I have something people might be interested in. Thanks.
you're most welcome, sir.
Okay, someone is asking for your direct contact. All this, okay, all this religious leaders self now. Wow, people will die plenty for Nigeria. Daddy Freeze. Nigeria will drop more than gold. Will drop more. Hell, you're me from water. I'm equally listening to it. My take is that if Daddy Freeze's challenge of what he said is basically because Reverend Chris is not a scientist. Is Daddy Freeze a scientist? What gives him the right of all known? Because he's always claiming to favor and also to do research. Okay. He always claims to favor and also do research. Why does he think pastors don't do research? For me, the wearing of the nose mask, especially at a long stretch, is unhealthy. I have equally heard from nutritionists who insisted that keeping people inside is the wrong call. People need the sun. This is Felix anyway. When we talk about that,
Yeah, now let me address it. Don't you have sun in your backyard? Must you go to church to get the sun? You see, the more these people come up with these theories and ideologies, the more funny they sound. I need the sun. I go out inside my backyard. I take a walk to my car. I stay out there, warm my car for 10, 15 minutes. I get my daily dose of sunlight. What do you mean people need the sun? So for you to get the sun, you need to go to your church because there's no sun on the way to your church. There's no sun. Even if you live in a face me, I face you. There is still sun that is going to get to your backyard. Secondly, yes, we all agree that the abuse of anything is bad. If you wear a face mask for 12 straight hours, you're abusing that face mask. You're not using it. Especially if while you're wearing that face mask, You're touching your eyes, your nose, you're moving the face. You go to supermarkets and you see people with face masks dangled under their face, and then they're talking to you. What's the use of the face mask? That's abuse. That could actually put you in the line of danger. Abusing face masks could actually put you in the line of danger. But saying that face masks should not be worn at all, listen, I'm also listening to the scientific community. With an N95, or what is it called, face mask, you stand the chance of being protected to a large degree. And that should be our mantra. How do we get protected against this scourge? That's what I think we should face right here.
Okay. All right. Before we go back to the phone line, let's pay some bills and we'll be back taking your calls and of course the WhatsApp messages.
Perspective, a news and current affairs program which attempts to find a common narrative or maybe several plots tying Nigeria's major cities. Every week, our team of correspondents delve into the heart of the story, behind the scenes, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Nigeria Info 99.3 is asking you to do your part in the fight against COVID-19. Wash your hands, practice good hygiene and social distancing. Stay at home, stay safe, and stay tuned to 99.3 Nigeria Info. Together, we will kick COVID-19 out of Nigeria. Start your day the right way, right here on the Morning Crossfire. Always fresh and highly informative. Hot topics, politics, current affairs, the heart of the matter. The job of the community told that you and I must be able to compare to give information and to be able to expect justice. The Morning Crossfire with Sheriff. Weekdays, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on your number one station for all 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. We keep you informed all day long with the best radio programming. From the Morning Crossfire with Sheriff to What's Up Lagos with Collins. And at noon, it's the same with Joyce. Let's talk hard with Sandra Ezekwesili. Exploring the way that he was and the gang bring the game on with day-by-day accounts of my.
For everyone wishing me a happy birthday, thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you for your love and your care and your kindness. You are greatly appreciated. Somebody's telling me I should do giveaway. The giveaway I've been doing since. Is that all you come to my page for? Don't you want to come and learn? I'm doing giveaway by teaching people. And today is my birthday. Shouldn't you be the one doing giveaway for me? Some people carry this begging to a very pathetic level. Do giveaway on my birthday.
99.3 Nigeria
Everything
Info.
for some people just collect.
Dangerous with Daddy Freeze. And we're back to the show. Welcome back, Daddy Freeze.
Thank you very much, Ada. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, so let's take more calls or more WhatsApp messages. I think calls, but please remind the callers that they're only going to be allowed 30 seconds, please, so we can get as many callers in and we could address as many of the issues they're raising.
Absolutely. 0700 993 993 993. Please, when you call, keep it short. Hello? Hello, sir. Please turn on your radio set.
Hello, Mao.
Hello?
Hello, madam. How are you doing, ma?
Hello? 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 Can you hear us? Good evening. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. Yeah. What's your wow? Okay, I think you need to call us back. Hello.
Hello, Ibrahim.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you very much. The part is calling from Konodo. Yes, let me start with the past war that tried to take the life from all that said bad politician about this man. I think it should concentrate more on the spiritual benefit and implication of this COVID-19. Not that want to talk about that. I think that if we talk more on the spiritual aspect of it, the church members and other data will be more than going into things that cannot prove. So I think that is my take. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That was a good one.
Absolutely. Hello? Hello? Okay. Too well to call us back if that was you. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. What a clear call. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very good, sir. How you
Uh,
doing? Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. My name is Baba Ilawa.
Okay, Babatunde.
Okay. So, basically, I feel like Pastor Chris is all our problems. We have a lot more problems to deal with, but Pastor Chris. I feel he was just expressing his opinion, and he had the right to. Basically, he didn't say people should not use the safe path. He just said it wasn't science. There wasn't scientific backing to it. And I feel like he's entitled to his own opinion. Because if you look at it, there's been issues around this face mask. WHO one time, or scientists one time came and said this mask wasn't effective, or you didn't need to use those to the face mask. And even online, there are people saying that doctors actually, scientists have said that there's no test. There's like no proof to show that the use of face mask has been effective because they've not done a scientific test to that extent to show that. Because doctors are using face masks, people are using face masks, and they are still getting infected. So what is the scientific evidence that this face masks are actually even working? So, but I don't think I said that people should not use face masks or it's not like there's no scientific backing for this.
Okay.
I feel like it's not something we should worry about or we should post about.
All right.
That's
Thank
what
you. Okay.
Okay, let's address what he raised. First of all, I think we've done a good job of addressing this from the very beginning. The face masks offer 95% protection from viruses and 100% protection from bacteria. If there ever was a time that we needed something that offered some form of protection on any level, I think that time is now. Pastor Chris does have an opinion. Yes, everybody's entitled to his opinion. But during a pandemic, your opinion, especially when you're influential, should be is something everyone should consider. You understand? What I, for instance, that have a following on social media would say and not get away with is different from somebody who has 200 followers on social media who comes out and just makes a careless statement. I would be held accountable for my statement because of my reach. I don't know if you understand that.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that a lot of people are going to listen to me, I should be very careful what I say. And if whatever I say is in any form or way going to put the lives of the public in danger, I should desist from it. Now, he cannot tell us what is important and what is not when it's trending on Instablog. I think that, brother Pastor Chris, not the problem of Nigeria. I think that's a very off thing to say. When it's on Linda Ikeji's blog, it's on all the blogs. If it gathered national interest to the point where it's on all the major blogs, I don't see why you would come and say it's not important. What's important? The one that you are not talking about that is inside your mind, or the one that is out there on the blogs that people are reacting to? 4,000 comments on Oyedepo's um, video on Instablog, thereabout. Let me even give you the accurate statistics of both. I'm going to Instablog right now. As of the last count, 192,000 views, 2,200 comments on Oyakilome's video, while Oyedepo's video has 179,574 views and 4,600 comments. You are not the one that is going to tell us that this is not important. If 4,000 people sat down, you know what is 4,000 comments? Let's imagine out of the 4,600, 600 were repeat. 4,000 people brought out their phones to comment on something. So you cannot tell us it's not important. If it's not important to you, it's important to the public because it's talking about a trending national issue of global importance. And at the same time, it's on the front line of the blogs. You're not the one that's going to decide what's important or not. If I'm wrong, you guys can judge. Secondly, if there's any level of protection we're getting from this, I think our problem should be how to wear the masks. Unless he can come up and say the mask are 0% effective, which is not the case because they're 95% effective if used properly. What he should use, in my opinion, what he should use his platform to do is to educate people on how to wear them correctly. And if you don't want to wear a mask, he should educate his people to sit at home if they don't want to wear the mask, or to avoid public gatherings, which of course include churches. So that is my take in that regard. Maybe we could take another call. At least his call was nice and clear. I can give him credit for that.
Mm-hmm. Hello? Yeah. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Hello?
Oh dear.
Hello?
Do also call back, please. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good evening. Hello, that's free.
Hi, darling. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Hello. Oh dear. I don't know what's happening. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Anna.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Fine.
All right, please.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing? All right, sir. Go ahead.
Pastor Grace is wrong. You know, if you want to fit mass, it will enable things or droplets not to leave us out. You cannot wear the kind of face mask or protection they use in the hospital in public because they wear those ones in the hospital to treat a confirmed case. But why you must wear face mask before you go outside, even if you sneeze in the public, the food will not leave you. Cannot say So we protect you and protect others. I help you. I don't think it's wrong. I'm surprised that this is something is coming from him. Also, I think political is for so long. We cannot open churches now and give it schools. It's wrong. Whereby schools are short, churches are short. So they should wait until we protect this thing. You see that friend, I am happy that Abacha rules are being resolved. I am happy for you that government was funding the rules now. We needed it the most. And I am also happy that the new seriousness is coming from government in the implementation of correctional reports. I know that. I believe that when unwanted agencies are scrapped, it will enable our budget to perform. We have no more to the recruitment project. I support the president. I am happy. This is the first time I am happy for president. Let him go ahead. Give me the can implement the national prosper report. Politically can save Nigeria. Take that perspective. Candidate to you. Candidate to you. This is
I love this particular caller. Can you hear me, Ada?
Yes, I can.
I love this particular caller. He raised a very valid point. I would have had the same sentiments if they were trying to open schools. This is not the time to open schools. This is not the time to open churches. This is not the time to open anywhere that promotes mass gatherings, including nightclubs and cinemas. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with nightclubs. As long as they're not the ones where people take their clothes off and dance on poles. That I cannot defend. But going out with your friends for a drink and you're all mature minds and you've got your wives with you and you just go somewhere, stay in a corner, they're playing music, I don't see anything against it. However, nightclubs should also remain closed. Sadly, for at least a year. For at least a year. I know it's bad business for many people, and I feel the same pain I feel for people who run schools and pastors and whoever requires or needs or puts gathering people en masse to use. I feel very sorry and our condolence, and the government needs to compensate. Fine, pastors would say they're not making money, so if they're not making money, no problem. But nightclubs and schools need to have maybe 1 year rent free. Maybe tax subsidy, at least for this year while they wait this out until human beings can gather en masse again. What about show promoters? What about event centers? What about wedding planners? All these people are going to take a major hit. So it's not the churches. I expect wedding planners to come out and be complaining. I expect schools to come out and be complaining because of their income loss. I expect nightclub owners to come and be, but why is it that pastors are the ones complaining? It's embarrassing. Because at the end of the day, it's still easy for a pastor to still read out his account details online and still get some part of his tithe. Maybe not the whole tithe, but he'll still get something. How is a nightclub owner going to make money this period? How is a wedding planner going to make money when who is going to pay you 10 million to arrange a wedding of 50 guests? We've had house parties that had more than 50 people in attendance. So do I need a wedding planner to plan a 50-person wedding? Wedding planners are going to take a hit. Event centers are going to take a hit. People are going to realize that they actually have space behind their house where they can do the wedding. And you'll most likely be able to get government approval to use the back of your house than you would to go to an event center. So all these people are taking hits, but pastors are the only ones complaining. I'm beginning to wonder that is there more to church than the spirituality? Is it a business? Why is this urgent need to gather the brethren at a time like this, ignoring all protocols of logic? In my personal opinion, what's the need for all these gatherings? If we have a vaccine, maybe we can start to gather again. But you see, before you can get the vaccine, before the vaccine can be circulated, and guess what? It is still many of these people that still come and kick against the vaccine. So it's like we're running around in circles like a duck with one leg. My opinion, maybe we should take more calls.
Absolutely. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Your area, your line is very difficult to get.
Oh dear.
There is a contribution I want to make. You see, everybody has opinion to experience and to express in this nation. Our constitution has given that order. I don't think that we have Colombia's statement and we have the focus effect has anything to do with the decision the federal government has taken. It's not taking there, they have no reversed. So why is that young man taking Panadol for patients that have the headache? And since when has it become Elias, what do you call it, Elias, why Mohammed? What is wrong with it? Does it mean that nobody should express his own opinion again in this nation? Has it been employed to attack anybody that held their view?
Can you see why we're not going anywhere? My darling sister Ada,
Yes.
my question is, those are their opinions. What do you think about the opinions? Nobody's saying they should not have opinion. Anybody can have opinion. Does your opinion make sense? Does your opinion make sense? That's the question. So I think we should attack it from that point. It's not about whether they have opinions or not. You see, people come and defend these pastors in every possible way they can. I said it now that if it was a school or a nightclub or a cinema that was coming and putting up this protest, I will have the same opinion regarding it. Here is my opinion. Nobody's attacking anybody. Here is my opinion. What do you guys think? So let's take more calls.
Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello?
Hello?
Good evening, Ada.
Good evening. Oh dear.
I think we should take other calls. Some people just can't hear.
Yeah, true. Hello?
This one's line is not clear. Can you hear him?
When you call, please speak up. Hello? Hello?
Someone said I'm patient. What would I rather be? I'll just keep quiet and be listening. There's nothing I can
Hello?
do.
Hello, good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. I've listened to...
What's your name?
Okay, my name is Godfrey.
From where?
Only from away.
Okay, go on. Make your contribution.
Yeah. I've listened to my speech. He said a lot of things, and whatever you want to say, he said it is my opinion. That is his opinion. He said something about 95% when you are using the mark that you are that the mark will give you 95% protection from who? Who says it? Is it the natives? I'm listening to many of these natives. They say just from this even that we are talking. What we're supposed to pray it out. It's not what we're supposed to speak in bed. Using this mark that is not giving us any space. When we breathe out, is that same that we are taking it, which is not good. Even like the last, you see, the second to the last corner state. You know, Pastor Chris expressed his own opinion. He did not attack everybody. We have important and a major issue to discuss in this country. But sometimes this man became sometimes I became to doubt him. Before, I always followed him. It is like, as the secretary has come and said, it's like someone being paid. Whenever any man of God is making comment, you attack the person. But I want to say this when you say my opinion, and look at what he said. A good analyst, whatever even someone is saying against you, you just listen and you take the way to take it. That's what I'm waiting from you. Anybody that say what is suiting you, you will congratulate that person. But anybody that does not say according to his own way,
Baba don't even get credit to talk. I get patience, so I lie. For my social media, I know they reach like this. Let's be objective about this. You are saying you are breathing. Do you know that doctors that run 8-hour operations wear these masks and they are not breathing in what they are breathing out? You see, when you call a place where people are enlightened, be careful what you say. The government, WHO, has told us to wear masks. You see, this is the problem I have with these pastors. They come out and they speak, and all of a sudden, what they're saying becomes credible. People, do you know what it takes for the WHO to come out and say you should do this? Do you know how much investigation by virologists and epidemiologists? Do you know? There are people. Do you know that there are people? There are countries where you get arrested for walking on the street without a mask. You would get arrested. So why are you? If something gives you, he was asked. He said, listen to what he said. Oh, this is an intelligent caller that I should listen to. 95. That where did I get the 95%? Go and read it on the mask. Is there? It is scientifically proven, not my opinion that I get 95% to. It's scientifically proven. My opinions are different, and when I want to give you my opinion, I'll tell you this is my opinion. It is not my opinion that the mask offers you 95% protection. It is a scientifically proven. I have members of our church, Free Nation Church, who are doctors abroad in the USA. I have church members who are nurses, not one, not two, not five. And I sit down with them and discuss. When you see them dress up to go to COVID-19, I have a nurse who actually oversees a COVID-19 unit in the USA. So I'm not talking to you like some ignorant guy who's watching YouTube conspiracy theories. I am telling you what the facts are. We relate on at least a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. How far? What's going on in the hospitals today? What's the new thing that you people have discovered? Because if I'm going to be talking to the public, I also need to be informed. So please let us all be guided. My problem with a pastor having an opinion that is contrary to what the WHO is saying is the fact that people listen to pastors more than they listen to WHO. So it is dangerous, especially when the opinion cannot be proven 100%, when it's just an opinion. You're going against what the state is saying. You're going against what WHO is advising. If WHO wakes up tomorrow and says, you know what, it's the other way around, then everybody can follow. But right now, if you are influential, you should be very careful. Have you noticed that Pastor Adeboye has not waded into this? He hasn't weighed in on any of these. He's just giving his church members the spiritual food that he believes they need, and he's staying out of the controversy. And I respect that. I'm friends to many pastors and priests, many of them, many top pastors and priests. And one thing I respect them for, right? Nobody's saying you can't have an opinion. All of us sit down and we can have opinions when we're chatting on the phone, but doesn't mean we bring those opinions to the public, especially when we're influencers. Whether you like it or not, a pastor is an influencer. He influences people. And these people have 5 million church members worldwide. They have 10 million church members worldwide. Many people do not take their time to actually investigate stuff. We saw that with the Bible. People don't read the Bible, they just wait for the pastors to read the Bibles for them. And that applies to many spheres of life. So if these men are going to come with contrary opinions, we've got to be very careful, especially during a pandemic. And especially when we can see that the contribution of the church to the pandemic is minimal in every way or form. So let's take more calls.
Okay, the phone number is 0700 993 993 993.
Please remind them to make their calls 30 seconds or less.
Hello? Yes, good evening. You have just 30 seconds to make your point.
Can you please send it to my DM? Send it to my DM. Bishop Poppy, Pompey, please send what you want to send to my DM. God bless you.
I feel that in case how would I put it into pieces? And if they don't want to say, they don't want to make hello, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Hello?
Hello, please go on. Wow.
Oh, it's a hard day.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Your opinion of this man, your own, if you are to say the truth, the face man has been being used in Nigeria now. Can that one give you 95% coverage?
Now that's a valid point.
That's number one.
Okay.
You call it face man. Does he cover the eyes? Does he cover the ears? And these are areas that one can contact this. One other thing is, that if you are very close to this pastor, why can't you call them on one-on-one and talk to them as a man of God? Must you bring them to the public and wash the dirty news in the public? Too bad. Thank you.
The 2 points he raised. The 2 points he raised, let me address them. First of all, the first point he raised does make a lot of sense. Yes, do the masks cover the eyes and the ears? Now, abroad, people are combining masks with goggles and face shields. The mask protects your nose and your mouth. Yes, your eyes are very, very vulnerable, and I appreciate that contribution. And sometimes when I go out shopping, I wear swimming goggles to protect my eyes. The ears are less likely. Do you understand? But you can also wear earplugs. I'm just suggesting. You could also wear earplugs. Now, what he said about chastising publicly, if you read the book of Galatians chapter 2 verse 11 to 17, Peter was being hypocritical. He would eat with the Gentiles when his other Jew brothers were not around, and when the Jews were around, He didn't eat with the Gentiles because of their disparity on circumcision. When Paul came, Paul confronted him publicly. The scriptures say Paul said to him in front of all the others, Paul called him out publicly over a doctrinal matter. So there is nothing wrong with calling out hypocrisy or what seems to be wrong publicly, especially when what is being said affects the public. Like I said earlier on, these are not opinions shared in personal church WhatsApp groups. These are public opinions that are on Instablog. I don't think there's anything more public than Instablog. And I think we need to run away from all this. Let's not criticize it publicly. Why didn't Paul call Peter aside in Galatians chapter 2? Why did he address him publicly? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are going to come and try to debate this. Also, if you check First Timothy chapter 5 verse 20, the New International Version says, "But those elders who are sinning you are to reprove before everyone so that the others may take warning." Now, we're not even saying anyone is sinning here, but there's a need sometimes for a public discussion. I've not insulted them in any way, but I just feel that as men who are influencers, they need to be careful with what they say, especially when you have a public that takes them so seriously. So let's go back to the phone calls. I get their time today.
Hello? Okay. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
It's still
good
night
evening.
too.
Yeah, good evening.
Evening, very great.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I think the guy you called from
Your name is? Okay.
calling from
Please make your contribution.
All right, sir.
why I will call it, I call from regulator right now. Students who I call online, they are not able to please directly.
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
I'm not calling for contribution. Financial help. To do help, so I'm not going to be like that. Please, adapt for your time and opportunity with the students. I want to appreciate when you give your better. It is students now. Very soon. Students now. I have no opinion to one of
Mm-hmm. All right.
We're sorry, sir. We'll see how we can help and get back to you. Okay, sir? All right, Ada.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have another caller.
Hello? Yeah?
Good evening, Ada.
Mm-hmm. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, sir. How are you doing?
For my own take,
Yes, sir.
I'll hit it on this. My name is Temi, I'm calling from X. For me, I think those pastors, their opinion based on their selfish interest, honestly. Because it not tell me why on the market and close church. First of all, people are hungry. There were days when Nigerians were calling on radio and asking for help, begging the government for cash, were broke. Things we are talking about, they collect a lot of tithe and all this. There was a time I went towards that Teja. I was surprised to see the kind of land and building that this person has. As for Christian treatment, I was like, wow. and this same person will have members that they are stop screen. Even that was before the lockdown, oh. And yes, they can't even come close to him because when he's coming, he's on a convoy. I'm sorry to say, but not all pastors. Oh. But for these two people, honestly, I don't see difference between them and the politician. They are trying to accuse that pastor. Because the politicians work with convoy, you too, they are working with convoy. I call it a man of God. Why? What are you running from? Who is going to harm you? A man of God. You can't walk in between your brethren. Jesus Christ. I never, in the Bible, I never heard that I had convoy. He mixed around people. Then he's preaching. This online thing, what I will just say, one thing I want to point out, this corona thing, I know it's not good, but honestly, it is opening our eyes. I don't used to listen to this show before, but all of the time I just had interest. Before it was only just night chat and that, but all of a sudden I don't have this interest. I don't know why Nigerians fail to understand that this is life. And these people, they did not rescue you when you needed them to rescue you. When now they are now looking for their own selfish interest, and you are there backing them up. People that are supposed to ignore whatever they say. And please, for me, please keep up the good work, and I really, really appreciate what you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
And vaccine. We should wait for the vaccine, and if possible, we should try and check out the Madagascar app. Whoever can tell.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, we should give the vaccine a try, and we should not neglect Madagascar and the good work they've put in. Very, very important.
Okay, on to the next call. Hello. Yeah, good evening. Please, can you speak up?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, Daddy.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Hello?
Hello, just go on. You can hear you. What's your name?
My name is Wale. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Okay, Wale, you have 30 seconds to state your point.
Yeah, as regards the face mask, my own contribution is though everybody is entitled to their own opinion, can say that again.
Absolutely.
It's more like saying Buhari should just come out and say the exact thing part of it. You can imagine the way the whole Nigeria will come on time. Or Daddy Freeze should say something like that. You can imagine the kind of reaction that will come from the whole Nigeria. So I think if you are going to talk about something publicly, you should say with diplomacy. And also that open churches so that people can come and worship. I see that as a total terrorism. Because referring back to the Bible, the wall of Jericho didn't fall when people shouted hallelujah in the church. Paul was in the prison and the gate was opened. It wasn't in the church. He shouted, he kept on singing.
God bless you.
Where two or more people are gathered, there I am with them in their midst.
That's the church.
You must open the church before people will gather. No, that is a total zero. That is my own contribution. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate your wisdom. You have spoken very well. Um, uh, Paul did not shout inside a church. He was in prison and they were singing hymns in prison, and the gates of the prison fell. These are well known facts. Now, Ada, I want to talk about why face masks are so important. Now, imagine a COVID-19 carrier not wearing a face mask. A healthy contact with a face mask has 70% a chance of collecting the disease. Let's imagine there are two people. One has COVID 19, the other doesn't. The one that doesn't have COVID 19 wears a mask, and the one who has COVID 19 doesn't wear a mask. Guess what? The one with the mask has a 70% chance of getting the COVID 19. Now, if we flip this and we give the mask to the person who has COVID 19, transmission is reduced to 5% even if the person who's healthy is not wearing a mask. Let us imagine there are two people, one has COVID 19, one doesn't have COVID 19. If the one that has COVID 19 wears the mask, the chance that the healthy person without a mask gets COVID 19 is only 5%. Now, if both of them wear masks, the chance of transmission is only 1.5%, meaning you have 98% protection, 98.5% protection if both people are wearing masks. Now, if only the person who's healthy is wearing the mask, he has a 70% chance of protection. If only the COVID 19 patient is wearing the mask, there is a 5% chance of transmission. Meaning, the person without the mask, as long as the COVID 19 person is properly covered, has a 95% protection simply because someone with COVID 19 is wearing a mask. Now, when both of them wear the mask, the healthy person has a 98.5% protection from the virus. These are facts. These are not the opinions of Daddy Freeze. These are known facts. Whatever your pastor was saying is his opinion, and I want him to come out and base his opinion on facts. Let me ask you a question. Why hasn't the Pope spoken? In the rank of seniority of the church, the Pope is senior to both Oyakilome and Oyedepo. Senior by far, with influence, with anything you want to speak of. Why has he remained silent? Why is he choosing his words? Pastor Adeboye in Nigeria is also, in my opinion, senior to both these men. Why hasn't Pastor Adeboye come out to dabble inside these controversies? Why is he just coming out and addressing his church's spiritual needs? I think they should take a cue from Pastor Adeboye and the Pope in this particular regard, unless there's something else inside this matter that we don't know. Let's take more calls or some WhatsApp messages.
Okay, let's check WhatsApp. Good evening, Daddy Chris Canada. After listening to the statement by the pastor and doing some quick research, I am inclined to say that Pastor Chris got a bit confused in his explanation, even though his argument had some merit. He may not have interpreted his information correctly, and that will be partly his fault. Please read the attached article by the BBC, and maybe you will gain some new insight. Thank you. Micro.
Forward me the information. I always appreciate some good information. Thank you very much. So we'll also look at it. Yes.
Okay. All right, no, go on.
We'll look at the information too and analyze it. I like sources like the BBC. I like credible sources. Let's all get as informed as possible. Thank you very much. My sister Adam, right here.
Okay. Daddy Freeze, I've been listening to your program since the beginning. Okay. Since the beginning of this global lockdown against the menace of an universal pandemic, as the COVID-19, it is highly educative and informative. However, I would like you to ask Dr. Abalaka, since you want to have a conversation with him, ask him about the implications for what can happen to someone who is battling with malaria and later stung by bees. When we were young, we were told by our grandfathers that when bees sting, it is an antidote for virus. Is it a mythical statement? Therefore, Dr. Malcolm requires water. Thank you, KK11.
Thank you very much, KK. I'm going to give you a personal story right now with regard something like what he just raised. My mom, about 12 years ago, had cancer. So she was treated for cancer. She went through chemotherapy and radiotherapy. We almost lost her, but by the hand of God, she recovered. However, it because of the heavy doses of radiation and chemotherapy, it affected it was beginning to affect her kidneys. So she was going for kidney function test and what have you. And I think we're getting close to the point where she almost needed, or the doctor said, look, we might have to do dialysis. So she was supposed to go the next week or something like that when a cockroach ran across the floor. And my mom always killed cockroaches with her bare feet. I We've fought about this. I personally can't stand roaches, and I don't even allow my kids to squash roaches. Hit it with a broom. Do you understand? Spray some insecticide on it, but don't squash it because I believe that what's inside their abdomen is horrid, to say the least. Unfortunately, my mom didn't step on a roach. What she thought was a roach was actually a scorpion.
Wow.
So the scorpion stung her. This was a very painful experience for her. She screamed. She called me on the phone. She was screaming. We're panicking. This is a woman that just finished chemo and radiotherapy. So my father now gave her some injections in the hospital. Forgotten what it was. And then my mom started getting fine. You know, it takes like 3 days to get away, for the scorpion pain to actually go away fully. It was 3 days of torture. And when she came out, she now realized that she wasn't feeling the way she was feeling with the kidney issues anymore. So she went to do a test and saw that her kidney function was normal. So between the scorpion sting, maybe the trauma of the scorpion sting, and whatever my dad gave her, we've never actually sat down to investigate what happened. But between those things, and of course with the hand of God, who has always been very present in my mom's life, she was healed. And she never did dialysis for a single day. So I do understand this bee sting therapy. You see, there are many things that have been unexplored, especially in the dark continent. With regards to information, I consider us very dark. There's so much potential with regards to healing from this part of the world that we're taking for granted. And it's nobody's fault but ours. So thanks for that. I just gave you my experience in that regard. This actually happened to my mom. My mom is not uneducated. My mother is a vice chancellor. She's a provost of a college of law, professor of law. So, and my dad is a doctor, a medical doctor, a European trained medical doctor. So, I'm not telling you what two villagers who are selling coconut and coconut water concocted. I'm telling you what happened, and I was a witness to it. It didn't happen behind my back. I can call my mom up one day and make her go through the gory of actually saying these things. But anyway, moving on to other text and callers.
Okay, Raphael Adegoke, happy birthday to you and Queens, wishing you God's best. Wearing masks for too long is actually dangerous to one's health. You breathe in what you breathe out, and it makes one sweat a lot, and that's not safe at all. as for Mr. Boyedeko's comments, I think it's really not safe opening up churches, mosques, clubs, and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, Daddy Frizada, Stephen Bayo from Ologi Ababa. I sincerely wish that our clergymen and other important things to do this time.
So we got
I
to
have
put this.
lots of forward. Nigeria Info has been doing a lot in terms of properly educating the people. Let's all do the same. Happy birthday, Daddy Freeze. I would have bought you a cake, but I am harsh trapped.
Oh,
Please,
I'm so sorry, but appreciate you though.
what are your social media handles?
Daddy Freeze on Instagram. DADDYFR EZE. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/ Daddy Freeze Teaches. Or just Google Daddy, or just search for Daddy Freeze on YouTube. You will see it right there.
Absolutely. Good day, Ada. Okay. Good day, Ada. My name is Olua Femi. Happy birthday to Daddy Freeze, Ifedayo Olaride. He has been an inspiration to me for over 3 years. I've been following his teaching. May the blessings and protections of Yahweh be upon him and his family. Did I
Amen.
get your name right? Daddy Freeze,
He
did I
got
get your
my
name
name
right?
right, yes.
No, I mean me pronouncing it Ifedayo Olaride.
It's Ifedayo or Larinde, but you tried. You
Okay.
tried.
Okay.
You did try.
I'll let it some more.
You have to learn some Yoruba, oh, Kedu.
Yeah, I know, Fumilowo,
That's the first one you know.
and a big Bobby, obviously.
Yes, Ebin
Good
Pami.
evening. Yeah, I know that one. Good evening, Ada. Happy birthday, Daddy. Please, many more years and sound health and great riches. My take on those Instablog videos, they are only trying to remain relevant in the society. It is actually an unfair situation where leaders are dishing out unprofessional advice to their followers. I fear their sheep. Okay, what did I need? Okay, their sheeples. Lest I forget, Daddy Freeze, I used to dislike you, but I can't keep loving you till the end of time. Okay. I guess you wanted to say I'm fine. I don't know. More wisdom to you, Matthew from the Badger. Daddy Freeze, please, when is the service on Sunday? What time and venue? I tuned to stations, but I couldn't get you on air.
Yes, on Sundays, I'm not on Nigeria Info. A lot of people have been sending me messages. We're listening to you on Nigeria Info on Sunday. We didn't get you. On Sunday, I'm on Cool FM. So on Sundays, tune in Cool FM. Okay?
Hmm. I am only interested in your birthday. I don't care about Oyedepo or Yafumi. I thought according to you, birthday celebration is a pagan practice. Are you now a pagan? Or is it one rule for the rest of us and another for you? Muna from next.
Good evening, Muna, and thank you very much for your call. I think it is a very great it's a wonderful thing that you drew our attention to this, and we've been discussing within the Free Nation what we are supposed to do with regards to birthdays. And in all honesty, we're still praying for a full revelation of what to do. And I understand where you're coming from, because birthdays are actually pagan. There are three examples of birthdays in the scriptures: Pharaoh's pagan birthday feast in the book of Genesis, Job's children. New International Version is the only one that uses the word birthdays. Most other Bible translation use the word days, that they were celebrating their days. And it was when Satan came and killed Job's children while they were celebrating. New International Version would say birthdays. All other translations say their days. So I'm half and half on that particular verse. But there's something that I worry about, because the scriptures say Job would go ahead and have a sacrifice immediately after their days, just in case the kids sinned. Meaning, it was also a potential for having a birthday feast, was a potential for sin. Now, there's a new, because we are in a new covenant. In the New Testament, there's only one example of a birthday, and it was when John the Baptist was killed on the order of Herodias, when Herod asked his daughter during his feast, after she had impressed him with the way she was dancing, he asked her to ask for anything, and she asked for John the Baptist's head. And Christ was sad that day. He went by himself to be alone. So there's nothing joyful about birthdays in the scriptures. The scriptures were written over a period of about 4,000 years. And in 4,000 years, there are only three examples, two proper examples, both very pagan, and one example that is halfway pagan and halfway sinful, and it's the day Satan struck. These are things we should worry about, in all honesty, as Christians, as believers. Now, one thing we've identified is during Pharaoh's birthday, there was a feast. During Herod's birthday, too, there was a feast. And during Job's children's days, there was also a feast. So the first thing we did away with in the Free Nation is the birthday feast. Right now, we're still looking to God. I don't have the answer to all questions. Is birthdays pagan? 100% they're pagan. 100%. 150, in fact, 300% say they're pagan. Now, greeting each other and wishing each other well on the day we were born, is that the same thing as celebrating a birthday feast? I'm asking people who I consider very spiritual in our church to pray about these things and also seek revelation. I still had a meeting with people today regarding this particular topic. Let's seek revelation from the Lord. It takes nothing for me to just come one morning and announce that we're not doing birthdays again. But we also have to work with the people so that we can be in symphony with them and their spiritual lives, and of course be in synchrony with the scriptures. So it's very, very important. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate you raising this. And yes, I know a lot of people out there will say the Jehovah Witnesses were always right. Yes, with regards to birthdays, they were right from the get-go. We were wrong. We were very wrong. I do wish people happy birthdays. I try not to make a preeminence of it, at least while we're still going through this, while we're still praying over this and trying to. There's so many things that are not direct. I can easily tell you having a birthday feast should be discouraged totally, because that's the pagan practice that Pharaoh did and that Herod did. Absolutely. And both times people died, both times people were beheaded. So it's a subtle sign showing how dangerous these things can be with regards to the spiritual. But hey, you asked the question, that's what I think. And if you notice, I didn't have a celebration. People were just wishing me well on social media. Some people were kind enough to send me a bit of money here and there. And I also, of course, still send people who are suffering money to this period. But aside that, we're not having any feast. We're not having a feast. But like I said, this is something that we're still seeking the face of God for. I hope I answered that well.
Okay, I would have really love the conversation to continue, but we are out of time.
Oh my God.
This passing word, yeah. We ended up talking about just one topic.
we ended about talking just one topic, but we still had Abacha Luto that we still have to talk about. We continued from yesterday. A few
Yeah,
people touched on it. A few people touched on it, but at the end of the day, a few people touched on it, but at the end of the day, we didn't really go in deep. I'm sure we can do that tomorrow. Hopefully, nobody's gonna come out and release any videos telling people to go back to church or to wear face masks. I do hope. But aside that, we'll be totally fine.
yeah. So can we have your passing words?
Yes, so guys, thank you so much. Join me same time tomorrow. Remember, yes, everyone's entitled to their opinions, but not everyone's entitled to their facts. Facts are universal. If you wear a mask, if everybody wears masks, the chance of let me add properly. If everybody wears masks properly, the chance of transmitting the virus from an infected person to an uninfected person is only 1.5%. That means an uninfected person has a 98.5% chance of being protected from the virus. So do wear your masks and avoid public gatherings. Not only churches, cinemas, schools, malls, anything you can avoid this period. Let's reduce the numbers. It's actually very deadly. Do I have 30 seconds to read out the global death rate, or should we?
No, we'll do this
So,
tomorrow.
all right, my darling sister. So take care of yourselves.
Okay. All right, then you too.
Bye.
This is Jake, the new day. Bye. All right, that was Daddy Free's Life and Dangerous with Daddy Free.
Okay, that was a good one. Um, a lot of people are stressing over what's not important. Somebody said, even the Bible teach us to number our days, to measure your achievement, not to celebrate. God bless you, Emmanuel. Number your achievements, be happy, thank God. Somebody said, will you wear Citizen Echo Drive watch? Why not? If it's from you, I'll gladly wear it as a gift. Even though right now I'm wearing a 18 karat rose gold Daytona from my watch collecting days. Of course, but I still love watches. So thank you very much, uh, lovely people. So I think we can round this off now. First of all, my message is simple. If you are an influencer, be careful what you say in the public, because there are many people who take you seriously. If you have an opinion on something that is that could affect our health negatively, you've got to be very careful how you share that opinion, especially if you're very influential. And secondly, I don't think anybody should be voting to, because if you can open a church for 2 hours, why can't you open a nightclub for 4 hours? You understand what I'm telling you? Not everybody shares your religious sentiment. So that's the thing. If you open a church, why not open the nightclubs? Why not open the movies? Why not open all these other things? So I think the church, this is an opportunity for us to learn how to do church from home. Let it not be that what we think is God is what we're going to now use to kill ourselves. Because it's like we're not thinking. That's just my take. God bless you guys. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. Someone said at some point we need to go back and scrub our old comments to see how we're changing. Absolutely. Bless you all, guys. Take care, guys. Guys, on my YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please don't forget to like this video. Please subscribe. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm waiting for all of you to subscribe now. Subscribe. Whoa. Have you subscribed? Egbagbe. Have you subscribed? Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Yes. Vicky Benson, have you subscribed? All right. Thank you so much. Just did, Johnny. Thank you, Damien. Years ago, thank you. What's the common sense? What's the difference between super chat and the normal chat? Please educate me. I've been staring at screens for so long, my eyes are blurry. It's very annoying. So, what's the difference between super chat and normal chat? Good night, Collins. Don't forget to subscribe. People can willingly donate to your channel on super chat in real time. Oh, wow. Wow, that sounds like a good idea. Because this one that I'm plugging phone to this to work, I wouldn't mind some. Okay. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. It doesn't work in Nigeria, unfortunately. Take care, guys, and God bless you.